Welcome to Illustrious Tales and the story The Man and the Mule, with artwork contributed by Miss Cheryl and some children. So you see, there was this man and he had a mule. It was a real nice mule named Clarence, real gentle like. But this man, he worked Clarence something fierce, unless it was like a really brutally hot day outside. And every morning, he'd walk himself down yonder to the corral where Clarence was a-munching and a-grazing. Him and his dog. Oh, he had a purty little dog, and that dog followed him just everywhere. Well, anyway, he'd take a rope to lead the mule back with. And when he got to the fence, he'd holler, "Over here, right now, Clarence!" And old Clarence, he'd lift his head and chew a mite. And then he'd just amble right over to the man. Like I said, he was a real gentle mule. Well, sir, one morning, don't you know, but this man was a-setting outside. He had a big old cup of coffee, and it was a fine morning. And he thought to himself, well, I'll just keep on a-setting here, and I'll send the little one down to fetch Clarence. Now, the little one was his son, and he was a good boy. And here's that pretty little dog that went just everywhere with that man. He was a good boy. And when his daddy told him to fetch Clarence, he just grabbed up that rope and he headed straight to the corral. And when he got to the fence, well, you know what he hollered. He hollered, "Over here, right now, Clarence!" And old Clarence, he lifted his head, chewed a mite, and just put his head right back down again and kept on a-grazing. Well, that little boy just couldn't believe his eyes. "Over here, right now, Clarence!" he hollered again. And old Clarence, he lifted his head and he chewed a mite and said, "Over here right now, Clarence. Every morning is nothing but over here right now, Clarence. Why, I barely get to sleep at night afore it's over here right now, Clarence." I declare, was that boy spooked. He dropped that rope right quick, and he started running for the house, screeching, "Daddy! Daddy!" Well, now that man, he heard his boy. He just kept a-setting there, and he's kind of laughing, and he says, "What you doing a-screeching like that?" And the boy said to his daddy, "You ain't gonna believe it, but that mule's talking." Talking. And that man laughed. And he said, "You're right, son. I don't believe one bit of that. Now you get yourself down there and you fetch old Clarence." But the boy said, "No, sir, Daddy, I ain't going nowhere near the talking mule." So the man got up, and him and his little dog follows him everywhere. They went down to the corral, and there was old Clarence, just a-munching and a-grazing, just like always. And so he gets to the fence, and the man hollered. Well, you know what he hollered. "Over here, right now, Clarence!" And old Clarence, he lifted his head and he chewed a mite and said, "Every morning, it's over here right now, Clarence." Oh, that man was as scared as he could be, and he turned around and he lit out as fast as he could run. And his little dog was running after him. And they ran and they ran. They raced clear across half the county until finally the breath was just gone from that man. And he set himself down on a tree stump and he said, "I'm as tired as I can be, and I can't take not one other step." And his little dog sat down next to him, just as panting, as hard as he could pant. And he said, "Me neither. I expect that man is still running."